Joining us now is Alamogordo High School's varsity volleyball coach, Henry Gettler. Coach, how you doing today?
Good, doing good this afternoon.
Well, glad to have you here. And start of a new season. You guys had your ups and downs throughout last year, and managed to fight through it on a lot of occasions. How does it feel different going into your second year? I know you've been with the program as a JV coach, but as the head coach of the second year, how does it feel different maybe than last year?
Well, I think overall the difference is most 99% of varsity coaches can really gauge 1 year from the next. So we always remember how we began, as you get through the season. And, of course, how you end. Everybody remembers how you end. But when you want to compare it to first year beginning versus now, there's a couple areas in which I'm very, very, very happy with. But nonetheless, it's a growing process.
Yeah, and you guys, you're coming off a 4-win season, so no other way to say it was a bit of a struggle, at least in terms of wins and losses. But I know coaches also have to look at the other things. Were the girls that are coming back this year, did they make improvements? Were they able to pick up on things that you were teaching? How did that work out for you by the end of the season in terms of girls picking up what you wanted them to do?
Well, I think the biggest thing is now we're going into the year with experienced hitters and, more importantly, a setter who's going to be a junior, but has that a full year varsity experience plus 2 summers actually. And you ask any coach, they'll tell you it is very nice to go into a year with a junior setter who knows what's going on. And so that in itself is a huge positive for us.
I know this year you guys probably aren't going to be very big on the size front. You're not going to have any 6-footers up there, but I guess as a coach, how are you able to make up for that you don't have maybe some of the size that some of the other 5A teams are going to have this year?
You know what we've done is we've kept with the same kind of theme in how we play and how we scheme, but actually, believe it or not, we're actually bigger this year. We're a consistent big. We don't have anybody that's towering 6'1", 6'2", but we have some girls that are very versatile, but they're the same length at the net, and they all can hit the same kind of patterns, so we're not stuck in a kind of like the same offense. When we're going outside, your girls are going to just jump over us, and we're going to be stuck rolling shots or tipping. We actually we're very balanced actually in the front line this year versus last year we had to hit some back line hits. This year we'll be much more balanced, but we're going to be having we probably have 3 very seasoned and very solid hitters. So I think that's going to help us a lot.
Do you feel like you're able to incorporate maybe a little more strategy, more changes in what you can do offensively to mix it up, or is it pretty similar to what you guys did last year?
Actually, no. Like I said, it's not similar at all because last year we actually tried to hit a lot of those backline swings. And this year we're really going to be a more dominant frontline swinging team. We'll probably go 85-90% frontline hitters. After 2 or 3 rotations, we'll still have girls coming through and swinging with good blocking size as well. So this year is one of those years where we're just we have depth at the size and the hitting position with an experienced setter, and we have an all-district libero coming back. So offensively, we should click a lot better.
How do you feel like that? You mentioned the libero, but how do you feel like how good this team can be defensively this year? The front line and attacking is going to be better defensively. What do you look at this year?
You know what? I think we're better defensively at the net.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we're going to be judged by our district. And, of course, our district is I don't know if every coach says it in every district, but we happen to be able to back it up in our district for the last 30 years, actually. The district is top to bottom. It's pretty good. And typically last couple of years we've been toward the middle, toward the bottom of the district. But that goes a lot to say about who's on top of the district. And once again, those teams at the top, they're huge front lines, and that's what makes a difference in volleyball.
Do you think, and I just want to speak of district a little bit, changing coach at Gadsden going into this year, do you think that's going to affect them at all, or you feel they're probably going to be just as good as they always are every single year?
They're always going to be good. That's not going to change.
Yeah.
It's just not going to change because of the passion in which they practice with and what they play with year-round, not 11 months out of the year, 12 months out of the year. And they have that down to a science. Like I said, there's some players who are on that varsity this year, they're juniors and seniors now, who experienced that 2-year run that they had. And that's just to say Gadsden. There's some other teams in the district, Mayfield and Oñate return huge varsity front lines. And that's what you need at the 5A level, is the size.
Well, let's talk about some of the girls that we'll see this year. You talked about that front line and the hitters that we'll see up front. Mention some of the girls you expect to be big on that front line.
Well, I just think we have 3 key players right now that are going to really lead us all the way around defensively. Obviously, we got Lexi Barunda, our only returning all-district performer from the backline defensive point of view, and great leader in the backline and as a libero. And then we also have Alyssa Monreal, another senior, who's our leading returning hitter, outside hitter, middle hitter, slide hitter. There's not a set she can't hit. And of course, that ties everything together is going to be our junior setter, Taylor Holmes, who has gone through enough chewings in practice and through summers that she is very well versed in the sets and what we want to do offensively. So we're talking about 3 key components on how we're going to run defensively and offensively.
Who else do you look for? I mean, maybe some other kids that are either rotating in off the bench, and maybe some names that are new this year that you expect to be a big part of what you all do this year.
Well, I know we got a little triple-headed monster there in these 3 sophomores that are coming up that we moved up, and they got good size. And we talk about Lauren Gwynn, who's a very versatile frontline hitter. We have Angelyn White, who's a very good outside and tandem type hitter, and then we have a lefty in Kristen Archuleta, which she provides that unique front line of there's no weak side hitter. Because she's a lefty, so our actual weak side, most teams' weak side hitter, that's her strong side. Plus, we accompany her with an already strong side hitter. So in a sense, we got a strong side plus the middle, and so that makes us pretty tough to kind of tandem block a little bit. And then, so if we can get those isolation blocks with some of these hitters coming through, and they're not hitters that can't jump, and then they're not bigger. These are actually hitters that can get up there, and so that's going to make us a little better offensively. And that takes a lot of pressure off that ball coming back over a little softer versus always getting just, pounded on. And that we took a lot of shots last year, and it wears you down after a while.
Do you feel like you got a pretty good bench depth-wise, or is that something you'll have to work on throughout the year?
You know what? I think skill-wise, we got good depth. Experience, though, is going to be the interesting point. Some of those younger players coming up, it would be interesting to see how they handle district, because I don't think a lot of people notice our middle school programs don't play any Cruces schools, almost never. And so when they get their first taste of a Cruces school, they understand, wow, we didn't see this at Mountain View or Chaparral or Holloman. They're not playing those schools. So it's a big difference. Big difference when they see the level at which those Cruces middle schools play, because they're feeder schools.
You got the Montwood tournament coming up this weekend. Obviously, there's usually a depth of very good teams that you see down there. Realistically, what are you guys looking for out of that tournament? What do you want to see at the end of the day that will make you happy about how you guys performed?
Well, you know what? We want to put ourselves in a position to really take the better teams into the 20s. And the teams that we consider ourselves even with, just kind of put them and get the good league and get the win on them. Last year, we had very close games against Socorro High and Hanks. But the depth and the size came through when we played Eastwood. And this year, of course, the pool play schedule is relentless when you have teams like El Dorado, El Paso, and Mountwood. And then we have Austin, and of course we'll see Hanks again. And so it's going to be interesting to see how we play the much better teams, how close we can play them. Like I said, goals to get into the 20s. And then, anytime you can get into the 20s with any team, nerves set in, pressure sets in, and that changes a team a lot. But, when you're playing El Paso teams, as you very well know, they're 12 games ahead of you right now. And so you're a different team at 12 games than you are at the first game. And so it will be interesting to see how we react to that.
Non-district, you guys don't have very many home games this year. You do get your 4 district home games, but non-district, you don't have very many on those. What's going to be the challenge there, and the fact that you guys are going to be on the road a bunch through, late August and September? The
wear and tear during the travel week. You come in on a Monday and you're practicing, you're just getting off a Saturday road game in Carlsbad or someplace. Then on Tuesday you're out at Hobbs again. Come back on Wednesday, you're tired. You got a first district game match on Thursday. Just staying in tune and focused on that. 'Cause that's a long stretch when you're traveling that much, and those are tough stretches. So, just trying to get through those times, and that's going to be the tough part.
What is the goal for this year? I mean, you guys are coming off a 4-win season last year. Is this a team that can make a run at finishing in the top half of district play, finishing third or better, or making a run at getting to the state playoffs this year? What's your feeling early on right now? I know it's you haven't played a game yet, so it's hard to say.
It's interesting because, like I said early on, we're in a situation where realistically any given year, pending your pre-district, you could end up with a very decent record, above 500, even better than that, 8-4, 8-2, 9-3. But ultimately, you're going to get judged on your district. And right now, just in district alone, we're like I said, we're not exactly depth-wise with the other schools. But I think we're going to pleasantly surprise how close. And some of those games that we're going to get some games from some people that they're going to kind of scratch your head and say like, "Wow, didn't see that coming." Because I just think we're a better team with better size. And we got, like I said, we got 3 girls. I mean, like I said, that are real consistent and their talent and how they're playing right now. And that's just something the previous year we did not have. We just didn't have that experience. You got to realize these 3 girls, at least 3 of them, have at least 40 varsity games under their belt. And that, I've always believed experience is everything. And we have some girls that are pretty experienced right now with, like I said, 40-plus varsity games. And that's what I'm going to really lean on. So,
forget wins, losses. At the end of the season, what will make you happy as a coach in terms of what the team has done in 2013?
Oh, again, that state tournament berth. Yeah. I mean, I really think that if we keep things in stride and stay within each other as far as it's about us together versus the me. It's not about me, it's about we. If we can get that kind of out of our thought process and say as a team, as a program, I really think if things go the way I think they can, we have a really legitimate shot at sneaking in there on somebody. I mean, I don't know if a lot of people remember, but no one thought Hobbs would do it last year, and they got in. You know what I'm saying? And granted, it's no disrespect to their district. Our district's a little different than that one when you have 6 teams or it's like 5 teams like us, and you're having to go through somewhat the gauntlet because that's a long day. Whereas in some other districts, when you have 3 teams, at the end of the day, you just you have to get to second place. That's what it comes down to it. And but I just think we're going to pleasantly surprise people with our front line and some of our swingers, and our experience is going to be a difference.